What's going on, everybody? So, I got for you another Monday Night Raw review. Um, we are, we was gonna do a show for the Wrestling Pit podcast or whatnot, but it got canceled. So instead, you just get little old me, which means we're gonna be here for a good time, not a long time, but we're gonna talk about some wrestling stuff along the way. Uh, Obviously this was pre-recorded, so some of the stuff was spoiled from what last week. Uh yeah, cause I think we knew Rhea was coming back. She came back this week and we knew she was coming back. So yeah, it is what it is, right? Let's see. They do a lot of foreshadowing in this episode too. A lot of foreshadowing. I don't know what that was all about. A lot of foreshadow. Um, Obviously, I'm late to my own party. 20 minutes late to be exact, but late nonetheless. That's why I just decided to do it in a live stream instead of pre-recorded because I really didn't have time to do a pre-recorded one. So uh, let's see. We started off with. Wait, did we got anything else? Oh, before we get into that, I was about to get into it, but we also got confirmation via Netflix that Monday Night Raw is going back to a TV 14 rating if Netflix is to be believed, because if you got a Netflix subscription and you go on Netflix and you go to Monday Night Raw or you type it into the search bar or whatever, and you go over there, they tell you the ratings for, I'm guessing, like they're gonna have older episodes of NXT and SmackDown on there, because they got SmackDown and NXT on there, I believe, from the picture I seen, and that and everything that I checked out. So basically, Monday Night Raw is going to be TV 14. It's been, touted, it's been promoted as a TV 14 show. I think SmackDown is also going to be TV 14. Is it is a TV 14 or TVMA? But I think it's just going to be TV 14 because can't be TVMA because TVMA is worse than TV 14. So I'm thinking it's going to be TV 14, while they say NXT is going to be rated PG 13. I don't think there's any other news. There's rumors that CM Punk might be that Seth Rollins might be a red herring, that actually CM Punk might be the last member, but who knows? I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it for wrestling news wise. But yeah, so they started off the show with Liv Morgan and Raquel, who basically came out to talk about their upcoming War Games match, and that they know Bianca and Jade are in the building, and they know that they're in the building, not by themselves. So she reveals that her and Raquel, you know, didn't come along either. She also you know, touted herself as like the greatest women's world champion of all time because she got the ring, all that. But once she says they didn't come along by themselves, Nia Jax music hit, and Nia Jax comes out with, you guessed it, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Rounding out the team Live with 5 women. So they get in the ring, and Nia cuts a promo, a mini one at that, about how she basically she doesn't think of Raquel at all. Like, she don't like Raquel. She don't dislike her. She just don't think of her at all. And she said the same thing to Liv Morgan, except that she said, we had our business at Crown Jewel. It is what it is. But the same thing goes. She doesn't like Liv or dislike her. She doesn't think of her at all. But Bianca and Jade, she said she can't stop thinking about Bianca and Jade. And before she could continue, Bianca and Jade will come out and said, basically said the same thing, that they didn't come along either. they come out with Naomi, and then said they didn't come along, and Io comes out and joins them, and the four women goes off into the ring, and Liv, berate them about not being smart at math, and that is five of them, and only is five of them, and four of four people on Bianca's side, and that they still outnumbered. But she's smart enough to know that one of them gonna throw the first punch. So she said, "Who's that going to be? Which one of you going to throw the first punch?" Because there's not a woman dumb enough to team with them. And who comes out? Obviously, spoilers. It was Rhea Ripley. As we already knew a week in advance that it was going to be Rhea, and she comes out with face guard looking like Cody Rhodes, and like you could tell like maybe the bruising. I don't know if that was makeup or that was real bruising on her eye, but I'm like either or. You could tell she really did have an eye injury. But she would come out and basically get with her mic, step in between like Bianca and them parted ways, so she could step into the middle and get right up in Liv's face and yell "War Games," and she just headbutts Liv Morgan. I'm like, don't you aren't you injured because you accidentally headbutted somebody's damn chest bone? And like, when you quit headbutting people, that's how you injured now. But she still headbutted her, and they get into a brawl. I thought that was pretty. That was funny. To like, you're injured because you accidentally headbutted somebody for real, and now you're sitting here headbutting. Still, like, she did not let that scare her from headbutting people. But yeah, so she headbutts Liv, and that's where a brawl started. But Liv would like basically take off. She didn't stick around. Rhea would chase after her just for a little bit, but then she stopped short of going deep into the crowd, and then she would just mock her, going, while everybody else brawl, and they would get Team Liv would get the better. Team Bianca would get the better of Team Liv to stand tall. But we got our five women, and then was made official in the later on in the show. They made it official that it was going to be all five women in the War Games match. Let's see. No, I don't think it was. Yeah, it was no promos or anything like that. So we get straight into the first match of the night, which is Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega versus American made Chad Gable and Ivy Niles in a mixed tag match. I'm like, that was the first time in a long time we had a mixed tag match on Monday Night Raw. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. It was pretty good. Uh excuse me. But yeah, the match was pretty good. I liked it. I liked they played like a typical mixed tag match. It was basically It was Zelina. I like that Ivy Niles and it got a lot of shine here, especially because of the whole mid card thing. And I'm liking that that's what they're doing with the introduction of this mid card title, and the possible introduction of the mid card title for Monday Night Raw, whether it's the women's Intercontinental or this women's Netflix title, whatever it's going to be. They're basically now they're showcasing the women so that the women, just even if you're mid card, now you're getting presented very well. So I think that's a plus on Triple H side. But yeah, so Zelina Vega and Rey Mysterio did their thing. And of course, Chad Gable and them did too. Chad Gable is always it's always entertaining to see him in the ring. So I don't have to mention Chad Gable much. It's everything he did was great. But in the end, a good thing happened. LWO got a victory. And Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega, they got a victory with Rey Mysterio pinning Chad Gable. But then Brutus and his brother, the Creed brothers, they would come out and basically like try to like help Chad Gable, but Chad would fire them up saying he's not a loser, that we're not loser, we don't lose, and he would get them like he would slap them and stuff, but it wasn't like out of disrespect, it was like out of the fire them up. So he fired them up, and then they somehow even in defeat stood tall, proud that they got a new focus. And then that's where we get a Judgment Day promo backstage where JD and McDonough and them, they all strategizing, and Liv Morgan and them will come in upset over what just happened. But Finn Balor offers to take the reins since she's dealing with a lot with Io coming after her title, Rhea coming back, and everything. He said, Finn Balor, you know what? I will take the reins, and he will hype up Cody, not Cody, Cody, but Carlito and Dominic Mysterio about their match with the War Raiders, and saying that he know the guys a lot and he knows their weaknesses and stuff. And he told them to go for the neck, and that you'll have a surefire plan to win the match. But he also did say it could either be that, or you could just piss them off even more and they just beat you down. Either way, you could tell he's like kind of still ticked off at Dominic Mysterio. So he'll take either them beating them and making a name out, making an example out of them, or them getting beat and down and watch it down and get beat up. Either or would be fine with him. Um, but they will leave to go get ready for that. I think because that was like the third. I think that's not the next match. But then we'll get the video package with the Miz and the Final Testament explaining their actions and how that how stupid it was for them to think that the Miz was really going to change his ways or whatnot. And he was like, the Miz was saying that he even bled to make his plan work and all that type of stuff when he got that eye injury, and you could tell he still had it, so he really did get cut. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know how it happened, but he really did get cut open. And I'm glad they used that in the actual storyline. But then we got them warning the Wyatt Six, and we will see a response later on. Then we got a backstage promo with Gunther where he was talking with Ludwig Kaiser, and Ludwig Kaiser tried to explain that he didn't want to let Damian Priest just disrespect him like that, but he said he told Ludwig not to ever speak for him again because he want him to focus on himself. Because he said he meant that they both got to make each other, they both got to get better, and Ludwig understood, that. But then he asked Ludwig, "But do you still see when you look at me? Do you still see the ring general? Do you still see the man Gunther that strikes fear into people?" And he said, "Yes, without a doubt." And Gunther was pleased by that, but then he told him to go do what he got to do, to get his name out there, and that consider Damian Priest handled. But then you saw Gunther, who didn't look so well confident, like he just made himself seem like, and then for some reason he started taking out his coat, and I'm like, okay, it's about to break away. Then we're gonna come back and see. He must go and we're gonna find Damian Priest, but no, Damian Priest was just sitting right there in earshot. I'm like, so you didn't hear all that conversation that they just had, not like 10 feet from you. I'm like, sometimes truly you gotta work a little bit harder. Come on, Triple H, a little bit harder. Like I thought to believe that a man sitting not 10 feet or less from two people having a loud conversation did not just hear that. The crowd wasn't even erupting anything, so there was no reason why he should have not heard Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser talking. And then, because like what happens next is so ridiculous. So basically, we see that that's what he was taking his coat off for. He was looking at like I said, not sitting like 10 feet from him, Damian Priest doing some autograph stuff, and he just went up and tried to put Damian Priest in the headlock, but Damian Priest would get the upper hand and get out of it, and then Gunther I guess in the struggle when after he got knocked off of Damian Priest, he picked up a pipe, but Damian Priest would kick him in the cojones and then tell Gunther that you might be the ring general, but in the streets, I'm king. And then he started laughing. Then Adam Pierce came up and he was trying to figure out what was happening because he heard, I guess somehow he knew the commotion was happening. And he was like, oh no, ain't nothing to worry about. Me and Gunther were just having a conversation here. And Yeah, it was just like, yeah, you might want to get him some ice, and he just walks away, and Adam just like, whatever, okay. But then we get to the second match of the night, which is the I think the only championship match of the night, which is Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship, and this match was pretty good. This was like definitely the best match of the night. I would say by far. There is a second best, but they this one, the second best, if it was just as good, if not a little bit better than this one, I would say the other match would be the actual best, but this was the best because it went so long. It had so many kickouts, so many close calls that you could eventually tell that maybe this is gonna be like Sheamus. I don't know. People were saying like this should be Sheamus like hurrah into his career that he gets the championship that eluded him for so long, which is the Intercontinental Championship. Um, and I think so too. I think he should. I don't know if that should be like his final hurrah. I think his final hurrah should be becoming at least world champion or WWE champion again. But I definitely think in the lead up to that, he should get the Intercontinental Championship so that he could become a Triple Crown champion by having every title or at least every held title. I forgot how that works, but I know it's like you got to have every title. And how do you? I don't. Yeah, he has been world heavyweight champion before, so yeah, he just needs the Intercontinental Championship. And I think it's the same thing with John Cena. I think John Cena needs the Intercontinental Championship too because he has held every championship except for the Intercontinental Championship. But the match was good. Like I said, it went for a very good long time. I think this got a good like 15, almost 20 minutes. I won't say exactly 20 minutes, but it was almost 20 minutes. But it was definitely 15 for sure because it went a good distance. But the part that I did not like was the finish. And the finish was just as the match was kind of getting to its apex, and you knew the next couple of moves was going to end it. Who comes out? Ludwig Kaiser, and he would hit Braun Breaker, causing both causing a DQ, and he would beat up on Braun Breaker, and then he would beat up on Sheamus. So basically, Braun Breaker did win the match, but he won via DQ. I'm guessing from this point, I'm guessing Ludwig and Sheamus is going to get a crack at Braun Breaker, probably possibly at Survivor Series or maybe at Saturday Night Main Event or maybe just on a random Raw in between. But I'm guessing it's going to be a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship, and they definitely positioning Ludwig Kaiser to be like one of the people to hold that belt. They're positioning both Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. Uh, let's see. Blah blah blah. Oh, so then we get a Seth Rollins promo where he's backstage, getting ready, warmed up for his match, and he's approached by the OG Bloodline, and they make another plea with him to put aside his differences, like he did with Cody Rhodes at last year's War Games, and work with them this time. They're asking him to put aside his differences with Roman because Jay said, "Look, we all got beef with each other here. We're not saying that we don't." Like he admit that there's still unresolved issues between him and his brother, Jay and Roman. Sammy still got issues with Roman, but they just saying for this one time they put in their side their differences to stop the new bloodline, and then asking him to do the same. And he said he would. He said if it he would stand with Sammy, he would stand with Jay, he would even stand with Jimmy. But he said it's just because it's Roman. He don't want to stand with Roman. He don't want to help Roman because he's afraid that if he helps Roman, if he stands with them, it could give Roman right back to the top and put him right back in power. And he did everything in his power to make sure Roman, that tyrant, fell. So he wants to keep it that way. And he said that hurts him a lot because as much as he want to get his hands on Bronson Reed, especially in that environment, in that type of cage environment, he definitely would want to do that. But he said it's just is no circumstance, not even his want to get Bronson Reed badly, could overpower his need to not want to team up with Roman Reigns ever again. So he apologized again, saying he's out. So, but we may have an answer if he really truly is out or not. And because now I just remember a piece of news, but it goes with the main event, so I'll wait. Let's see. We got a video package promos from Dakota Kai, promising that that talking about her doubt and her injuries and how when you're put on the shelf and you got injuries, you start to doubt yourself that you even belong, that you could make a difference. But then she basically picked herself up and promised you that she's going to be the champion that she knows she is, and that she's going to show everybody what it mean, what who Dakota Kai truly is. Um, and we get another one, and it's a thing I want to talk about with these video packages. Uh, but for now we get another one, but it's not now. It's a little bit later. Um, we get the third match of the night, which is JD McDonough, Judgment Day. I was about to say JD McDonough because I always put Judgment Day when I write down. I put Judgment Day as just JD, and I was about to say JD McDonough, but Judgment Day of Dominic Mysterio and Carlito versus the War Raiders. And this was a pretty good tag team match, fairly standard tag team match. The War Raiders looked good, but they actually let Carlito and Dominic look a little good here too. And that's a lot, saying that they haven't let Carlito look good in a long time since he's been back. But he did look good here. Honestly, I can say that I don't think Carlito looked good since his before he turned heel and joined the Judgment Day. Like when he was with the LWO, they used to make him look good all the time, but now he haven't looked good since then. And then there are instances when he does, but it's rare, few in between, and this is one of them. But he did look good here, and the War Raiders looked good here as well. Like I said, they had some good spots. War Raiders really they still really brutal, and I like that. But the War Raiders would get the victory over JD. I keep saying JD over Carlito and Dominic Mysterio. Even though, like I said, they both looked good there in their performance. But the War Raiders would get the victory, but they pun intended, would not win the war, as in the victory, standing up, arms raised, they would get attacked by JD McDonough and Finn Balor, with the help. I think Dominic helped, or did no JD, just it was just JD and Finn Balor. They destroyed the War Raiders, hit him, attacked him with some moves, and I think Finn Balor even hit the coup de grace to stand tall with all of Judgment Day afterward, because after they stood tall, you see Dominic and Cardio get back into the ring to stand with them. Then we got a video package from the Y6 with this time just featuring Uncle Howdy himself, Bo Dallas, who was saying that he gave the Miz a chance, to get out of this, like to not be a part of what's coming for the Final Testament. And he because he's a liar and a snake, he chose to stand against them with the Final Testament, and that the Final Testament and the Miz and them are pushing them to do something that they did not want to do. And he admit that he did not want it to come to this, but but what comes next is what they're asking for. So an ominous warning at that. And then that's where we got this other promo I wanted to talk about, which is another video like Dakota Kai's, but this time for Lyra Valkyria. And it was just a standard promo about her coming for everyone and that she's also is going to be champion. So I'm starting to think with these two promos and the fact that the SmackDown United States Women's Championship is only going to be contested amongst SmackDown contenders, and I think we said this in our SmackDown review too, that the talk backstage like for Sean Ross Sapp and all them, they're basically saying that the reports they're getting is that as of right now, it seems like the United States, even though it was reported that it was going to be amongst all three brands, it's being reported that the women's United States Championship is only going to be exclusive. Is going to be exclusive to SmackDown for the foreseeable future. So with these two video packages, I'm starting to think that they're gearing us up for the reveal of either the women's Intercontinental Championship or this Netflix title. Either or, I feel like they're gearing us up for the reveal of that. So I'm thinking either maybe after I don't know Survivor Series or maybe after Saturday Night Main Event, which when we go to Netflix or when they go to Netflix in January, maybe we get that reveal. But it's coming very soon. Um, let's see. Then we got a New Day promo where Kofi is backstage and he's he's joined by the old Alpha Academy of Chad Otis and Kira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree, and they're having a good conversation with Kofi Kingston until Xavier Woods come in and said that because they was talking about the anniversary and how things going with Xavier, and Kofi was saying, I don't know, man, it seemed like we just at odds lately, and that never used to happen before. But then Xavier would pop up and saying that he was also showing concerns and that he wanted to get back on the same page. Um, but he was like, man, Kofi was like, but man, like we just gotta remember what the New Day was, because we never used to argue like this. Then we just gotta remember who we were and who we are and how we used to be and all that type of stuff. But then Xavier looks at Kofi like, why do I gotta remember? Like, so it's my fault that going. He said, no, I'm not saying that. Why do you get offended over every little thing I say? He said, because you're saying this, and then Otis try to calm things down, say, hey, we're all friends here, and and then and Xavier like he said, "Stay out of this. Mind your own business, Otis." He said, who? What advice can you logically give to us, the greatest tag team of all time? Like, what advice can you give to us? He said that's why Chad left you guys, and I'm like, woof. And then they started looking sad. He was like, "Oh, you guys sad now? You're sad." He said, "Well, you're going to be sad next week when you find yourself in a tag team match losing to the greatest tag team of all time." And then he hits Kofi like to tell Kofi like to come on with him, but Kofi's just sitting there looking like I don't know, guys. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with him. So I think that would be like the anniversary episode because next Monday is the 25th, and they're gonna be doing the anniversary episode then. Because that anniversary is supposed to be the end of the month, but there is no Monday. The Monday is not obviously in the later in the week, so they'll have to do their anniversary episode on the 25th. And I think that episode will be dedicated to them. And I think we're gonna get the split there. I really do. But then we get to the main event, which is Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins. And this was, by all counts, a good match. It's similar to the Sheamus and Breaker match in one way, but this actually has the actual winner in a sense. But anyway, so once Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins get into the ring, before they can even fight, all of a sudden the ring is surrounded by Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tagaloa, looking like they get ready to jump into the ring and help Bronson Reed. But then you got Jay Uso's music hitting, and him, Jimmy, and Sammy coming down and fighting both Jacob, Tama Tonga, and Tagaloa, and basically running them off to make the ring clear, to help it be clear and free of the Bloodline 2.0. And then we get to the actual match with Bronson Reed and them having a good match. This is similar to the fact that just like with Sheamus and Braun Breaker, they're basically having like this back and forth, right? They're having this back and forth. They having like kick out, near falls, struggles. Like I think what Seth tried to put Bronson Reed in the pedigree like multiple times. This match was great. It was a great main event. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed the back and forth. I enjoyed that these two are putting on a show where it seems like even though Seth Rollins has faced Bronson Reed before, he still can't believe that it's like it takes so much to put down Bronson Reed. But then on the flip side, you got Bronson Reed who has already faced Seth Rollins, and it's like, wow, I can't even put down Seth Rollins. Like, what's going on? So it's like these different things that happens, right? In a match where they both question what they have to do to put each other down. And, but in the end, Seth Rollins would get the better of Bronson Reed, where he's getting ready. He do a stump, and look like he's getting ready to go out to the rope to do maybe another stump, maybe a super stump. But then out of nowhere, somebody gets on the announcer table, and it's none other than Solo Sikoa. The whole bloodline was there, and Solo Sikoa, well, not at this moment, but you know what I mean. They was all there in the arena. But in this moment, it was just Solo, and he basically distracts Seth Rollins, taunting him to come down there and fight him. And then Bronson and Reed would take advantage. I think he hit a Death Valley driver, like 2 sentons, or yeah, I think he did like 2 sentons, and then he did his tsunami splash finisher and got the victory over Seth Rollins with so thanks to Solo's distraction, and him and Solo was staying in the ring over a down and beaten Seth Rollins, which I'm glad for because Bronson Reed needed that. That really just cemented him as a main eventer because he has now beaten a former world champion. He's beaten somebody who has been WWE champion and world heavyweight champion. So Bronson Reed is now in my picture at the start of his main event push. Now, only thing he needs to do is claim one of the titles, but I believe that's going to happen very soon. And it makes a good case though who could be the person winning the Royal Rumble. Now he makes a good argument that he could win it because now he's beating a former world champion. So either at least on the Raw side, I could see either CM Punk, um, Damian Priest, or Bronson Reed being the clear obvious choice. Maybe even Jay Uso, depending on how the rest of this goes after War Games. Uh but yeah, that would be it. That would be the end of the show here. Um, with that, I'm going to give Monday Night Raw a good 7. It wasn't bad. Yeah, it was better than it was way better than last week's. So I would say it's a 7 for sure. I was gonna give it a 7.5, but I'm like, nah. This was definitely a good 7 though. Uh, it had a lot of interesting things. Even though we got the spoiler for Rhea, I think it would have got higher had I not knew Rhea returned. I probably would have gave it like an 8. But since I knew Rhea's return already is going to happen, and that then too on top of that, I knew that Bronson Reed was going to win his match with Seth Rollins because that was also spoiled too. That was the two spoilers I seen. I knew that Rhea Ripley was returning, and I knew that Bronson Reed was going to win his match with Seth Rollins. I seen the photo of him and Bronson Reed going, holding up their hands in victory. So obviously, I'm like, okay, Bronson Reed wins because Solo is going to come. And then with the bloodline Solo, I'm like, oh yeah. So basically, all we waiting on is Solo to handle the outcome of this match. But if we haven't got spoiled on that, I think I would have given it an 8. But because I knew Rhea was coming back, because I knew Bronson Reed was going to win, it really wasn't that much of an exciting episode, but not bad of an episode either. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Big ups from a little bit, man. But still worth watching because they definitely gearing up for that Netflix. So you can see both shows are gearing up for their like newer attitude, if you will, style they're gonna go. Because I think SmackDown, even though SmackDown is gonna be in the USA Network, I think they're gonna try to be more edgier to compete with Raw. Says Raw gonna be on Netflix and have this whole they're gonna pretty much can say anything because nothing's gonna be censored. So like literally, like anytime they even cuss on there, it's not gonna be censored. The fans are not gonna be censored because it's Netflix. They allow all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, especially if they don't fix that buffer. My God, they better fix that because I couldn't hardly watch that. Oh my God, I almost cussed. That Mike Tyson match was horrible. But that's a whole nother video, guys. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that, but that Mike Tyson fight was horrible. Oh my God. I couldn't hardly watch it because of the buffering issues. And then when you did watch it, I think the buffering was trying to save us. So I don't know. Maybe the buffering was a godsend. Cause I don't think God wanted us to watch that whole fight. Well, with that being said, if you enjoy my review of Monday Night Raw, you know what to do. You hit this button right here. Uh, it'll be in there. I'll put it in there later, obviously, for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much, you want to support the channel, you know what to do. You hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, do all those great things. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers, and we made some headway in that. Again, shouts out to the 150 plus subscribers I gained in the last couple of days. Thank you for your support. I know you didn't have to give it, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I want to say here too that you know what? I think I'm going to give out a reward. I don't know what it is yet. It could be a laptop, could be anything. It's going to be a reward though. It's going to be something. If I reach, if you get me, if you guys help me and work with me to get to 10,000 subscribers, there's going to be a reward for sure. Like I said, it could be a laptop, could be anything. It could be a game system. Who knows? I'm feeling generous. If you get me there, I'm feeling real generous on that front. So with that being said, like I said, you want a chance to win a prize if I get to 10,000 subscribers. You gotta hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, help the brother out. With that being said, hit any one of these videos, go to my channel, hit any video for more of my entertainment videos. After that all along review is coming out right after this. So peace. Love you guys. I'm out.